Hey all, as we transition to using Google Meet, I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to share your screen but still be able to see your students. Because if we're doing stuff like responsive reading, and you want to see what the students are responding to and have that face to face as much as possible, then you want to make sure that if you are using Google Meet that you can still see while you're sharing your screen, which presumably has a book or a whiteboard or something like that on it. So I've already opened my meeting in Google Meet. I've got a second person here, and so this is the second person. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size of my Meet screen so that I can also fit a second screen on it. So what I'm going to do is, if your screen is already full screen, it'll have two squares in this box, overlapping squares. If it is on the already like able to be made smaller, it'll have one square. So you want to click this button until it has one square, and then you want to go to either the corner or the side with your mouse and wait until those arrows show up. And so I'm going to go from the corner, and then I'm going to drag my screen into the size that I want it. This is how big it has to be. It has to be at least this big. And then because it stops letting me move it. So I can still pull up my bottom options here, but you will notice that I'm losing some of my options. So if I need to change the screen layout or to record a meeting, I'm going to have to make my screen bigger again. So I'm actually going to change my screen layout to tiled, because I found that works well. And then I'm going to make my screen small again, and then I'm going to hit present. So I want to present a window because the kid doesn't need to see me and them, because they're already going to be able to see me in the window. So I'm going to hit my window, and just a heads up again, I'm losing some of my options when I'm that small. So if I close this again, I don't have the cancel option, but I do have the share option. Okay, so I'm presenting on my screen. I can see that I'm presenting, and then I can see my student, which is the main goal. I want to be able to see my student while I present. So that's right here. So I'm going to keep that size. That's as small as I can go. And then remember, if you make it bigger, you can change your screen layout and see what works best for you by clicking those three dots and changing your screen layout, just a reminder. So I'm going to make my screen small again, and then I'm actually going to go to this. So if I had this full size, again, I would have to take this from 2 boxes to 1 box so that I can make it the size that I want it. And then I can make it and fit it into the size of my screen so that I can still see my student on Meet and then see what I'm presenting. So obviously this is just the library website, but if I was presenting a book, then I would want to make sure that the student was seeing that as well. And, just checking in with the student. Hey, can you see this? Is it working okay? Let's just do this as an example. So I'm just going to click read. My book should pop up. So now when I am ready to read to my student, they should be able to see this because this is the window that I'm presenting, and they should be able to see me on their screen, and then I can read it to them, or we can read it together, whatever works for whatever age group you are working with. So it's not the easiest, but it is what I have found, at least, to make work so that I can share my screen with a student but still see that student as we work together. If you have anything to add, let me know.